Hey, Mark. Shout out to you, bro.
Let's go! 0-3, baby!
See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about...
All right, guys. G'day. Welcome to the Steelers Ironcast. I still love that intro. It makes me laugh every single time. With my mate, Derek, down the bottom, my other mate, Britsburg, Owen. How's it going, fellas?
Oh, good, bro. Yeah, great to be on here with you guys today.
Yeah, it's going good, man. I have very little memory of that day. I was on the cusp of I wouldn't say tipsy, but I was there, man. I was coming off that loss by the Bengals, man, and I was irritated. And I don't have no recollection of that night except eating the ghost pepper chip, man. That's it.
Yeah, you had to eat that chip, right? That really hot chili chip thing. Yeah. That's I mean, I can't do that. I can't really stomach. I do like the taste of hotness, like the jalapenos and stuff like that. But that was like, I was telling you just off air, just saying, like, that was the best day of my life because if the Bengals went into that playoff run, like what? You know, winning all the games, beating the Titans, beating I think the Raiders and whoever, and even the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
And then they get there and they're back and forth the whole game. And to me, they didn't really seem like they were meant to be there in the playoffs. And then Joe Burrow fumbles the football in the last second, and loses the whole game, and stuffs the whole season up. You know, and it's like, and today we are celebrating the success. And I told you before, Grid, like ages ago, I would rather the Steelers never win a Super Bowl, and I would just watch the Bengals lose every year, every single year.
That's tough, man. That's tough. See, you guys have 6 of them. So you know what winning feels like. Me being a Detroit Lions fan, just give me one. I would not listen. I would take a Super Bowl appearance over any one of them teams winning in my division. But that's because y'all are spoiled, man. It's like you and the Cowboys and the Patriots. The Patriots, the Steelers, y'all at the top tier while we have never been. So I can't feel anything about that, Mark. I want to win.
So look, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk today about celebrating success, in life and the NFL and with our teams. So our teams, my team is Steelers, and Owen's team is the Steelers as well, and your team, Grid, is the Lions. So there's a big difference there, right? There's a massive difference to find out from our success following our team for 6 Super Bowls, going to 8. And you guys have never been to one. Don't mean to say it like that, but
it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. I wouldn't be a fan if I got offended at that. It's the truth. So it is what it is, man.
We're gonna break that down. But what I really wanted this podcast to be about is also celebrating our success on their individual channels, and also the collectively thing we're doing with the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate and the Syndicate brand, of course, the Detroit Lions Syndicate. First of all, Owen, I'll start with you. How do you think it's all going, and what are you pleased about with this journey?
I think it's going quite well, going very well. The syndicate's doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks, with all 3 of us working hard on that to be over 1,000 subs. Was it what we're on now? 1,090, is it now? I think we're on.
Yeah.
Monetized, which is fantastic. And my channel's done. I've been just over the moon with how my channel's done since I've started taking it seriously and sort of February, March time, 422 subs. So it's going really well. It's talking Steelers is keeping me going, man, at the moment.
100%. Well, that's what I wanted to do just today, just to reflect, chill out, have some. You guys having beers, I'm having coffee. I'm wearing my sweater for
success.
I only pull this out when we start winning.
No.
Yeah,
Mark, put it back up, man. Put it back up.
Even though you do look like a geography teacher, Mark.
Yeah, well, it's actually quite comfortable. It's just such a weird design. It's like, I don't know. If I wore this to the game, I'd probably get bashed, right? If I was like going to a Raider game, they'd be like, who's that guy? Is he an announcer?
Yeah.
Right. But Grid, what about yourself? Like, your journey on YouTube is quite you've been going, I don't know, like your journey it could almost be like you could write a whole book about it, or do a YouTube channel about your journey, right?
Yeah, man.
What do you think, how are you so successful, and what do you define as success?
Oh man, that's a really deep question, Mark. Okay, well, since we're doing there, I'm gonna go ahead and start it, man. Got some 1,800. Every time my channel gains 1,800, I'm going to get some 1,800. So this is to success. Okay. Okay, now I'm back. All right. Well, how do I classify success is basically not quitting, to be honest with you, man, because at the end of the day, this is a difficult journey. It takes a lot of effort, and a lot of people get discouraged before they even reach the first milestone. You know what I mean? Some people never even put a video up. So for me, there's different levels of success. And I think one of the most important ones is just the will to keep going when things may not be looking like they're going to work out for you. But man, I just got to say, bro, like with you specifically and Owen taking a chance on what we're trying to do, and nobody else really would. And you were the first person. Then Owen came aboard, and he's been phenomenal for the team. And now we got Gage, and we got another guy starting on Monday. And I'm just so proud that you guys took a chance on me and that you guys enjoy what you're doing, because that's what, we want to do. We say that we want to be fans of the team first, and we want to let passion shine through. And I'm just, man, I couldn't say more. As far as my YouTube channels, it's just basically, bro, taking a passion that I had and turn it into a channel. That's literally it. And just consistently uploading and stuff like that. So there's different levels of success. It's just what you want to do, I guess, gauges how successful you can be.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. How I took a chance on you with the syndicate, because I pretty much did my story success out of spite, because I didn't want someone else to succeed. I didn't want to see some other bludger go and do what I could have done.
Yeah. So, that's also a good reason, though, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good. I'm driven by disrespect and spite and stuff like that. So, hey, well, I'm happy honestly, you like that.
Honestly, if I would have saw not Owen, but like another Pittsburgh dude, American dude, I would have been like, rats. Like he's on 1,000, and that could have been me.
Yeah, 4 months. Yeah. We got there. You guys got there in 4 months, man. 4 months. That's more people. That's more than channels that have been active for years that they don't get. So that's really tip your hat, guys, at the fact that you were able to do that, because that is a phenomenal accomplishment. And you guys have, I'm telling you, man, y'all are amazing workers from across the sea, and we're a team. But you guys are awesome, man. Like, I couldn't really do this without those type of people. So this is more about y'all than it is me. So I appreciate y'all, man. Real talk.
True. That's awesome. Well, you brought up another good point as well, how there's some challenges too in not giving up. So I want to pass the buck to Owen. Owen, what do you find is most challenging about, we want to celebrate the success, but getting there, the grind, what is most challenging about that?
I don't know. You get like a situation where you're putting hours and hours of effort into making videos and overlays and stuff, and then no one watches it. It's just like, oh god,
very true.
You can spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours coming up with slides and ideas and writing down ideas and researching and blah blah blah, and just no one cares. Then you do something that like literally is like a 2-minute job where you just suddenly talk and you make one slide and everyone watches it. You're like, what is the point?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a point to that too. That's an excellent point, Owen, because I want you to elaborate on this grid, because we know now that the NFL guys, the YouTube guys, the media is coming over to YouTube, right? How is that going to affect people like us who are just normal guys, YouTube in my room chilling, right? How do these big media guys at NFL, how are they going to affect, and also for the viewer as well, how is it going to affect the sports media in social media?
You know what? I think that it will, in the terms of their production value and the fact that they have credentials sometimes, and they can link up with the team. That's something that I don't have. As much as I would love the Detroit Lions to come and reach out to me, they have that access. They also have the financial backing to do more than we can. But what they don't have what they have that we don't have, Mark and Owen, are restrictions. We can say, we can do, we can talk about whomever, however we want to, and that's something that they will never have over us. And I think that that's what makes us as fans. We're not some type of corporate, structure and all that stuff. We love our team. They're important to us, and we're going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. We don't have an agenda. We don't have somebody lording over us to tell us what we can and cannot say. And I think that is, as long as we keep that dynamic, and we'll be able to kind of keep a leg up on those guys, even though they have the financial backing and such. So they are crowding our space, man, 100%. Every time I look down, there's a new. I saw Skip Bayless has the Skip Bayless show, and I'm like, where did this come from? So they're crowding our space, man. YouTube is about the average Joe. It's not about these corporations, but they came over to our space, so we got to compete, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's even crazy with also the Pivot podcast just had Mike Tomlin. I want to get your thoughts on Mike Tomlin as well, because I know he is quite successful. We are talking about success, and he has never had a losing season. The stats back it up. Like, as long as people hate Mike Tomlin, I have no idea, because the guy's never had a losing season. He's a winning record. That to me is success. But those guys from Pivot now, those Pivot guys are all ex-players, and they're on YouTube and Spotify. And it's crazy because, 5, 7, maybe 8 years ago, it was just about the average guy talking football, but now we are competing against, and actually why I feel quite proud as well, because we're competing against NFL guys, Arthur Moats, Pat McAfee, all these dudes are taking up the airspace, and rightly so. They're big fellas in the game and from the NFL. So, what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin and I just want to hear just straight from the gut, look in our fans, I would say about probably 10% or maybe 15% want him fired, and me and Owen can't figure out why. I just want to know, I've said it before, he's a winner, deal with it. What's going on?
Well, without pulling any punches, the fan base is spoiled. I'm telling, that's what it is. You guys, not you per se, but you guys are spoiled, man. Y'all, the fact that the guy has not had a losing season, even when it looked like he might, he still hasn't. And y'all don't understand. I think the fan base does not understand the true definition of failure, bro. Y'all have been the face of the NFL for a long time. The steel curtain. Y'all had all of these guys, man, and it's always coming back to Pittsburgh. Try being a fan of, dare I say, the Browns or the Bengals, right? You have two teams in your division that have been known to be terrible. One of them have never appeared in a Super Bowl. And then you take us. We are one of 4 teams to never appear. Never appear. The other team, Cleveland Browns, the 2 other teams were born 30 years ago. So back to you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want to win all the time. And that's cool. But y'all don't know what real losing feels like, because y'all are spoiled. That's it. So it comes back to Tomlin. If you don't do this or you don't do that, get him out of here. Get him out of here. I mean, listen, we fired our coach in 2017, and we have not had he had a winning record. He was 9-7. We fired him. We have not won over 6 games since he got fired. So y'all would be having a fit. Y'all probably, setting stuff on fire and, rioting. I don't know. But I think the fan base needs to appreciate what they have, and they don't. It's like you don't know what you got until it's gone. So,
yeah, leave paradise, put up a parking lot or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because come on to Detroit. Come on to Detroit.
On YouTube, can we quote the song? We cannot. Is that we get? Am I fired now?
No, you can do that.
I got to say, I agree 100% with Grid. I think we are absolutely mega spot. I mean, you've just got to read some of the comments that get written when you post anything about Tomlin and how well he's doing or that he's a winner. You despair with some of the comments. I mean, I've had tonight, the only reason he won the Super Bowl was because he had Cowers players. Well, in that case, Gruden won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay because he had Dungy's players. Seifert won the Super Bowl with the 49ers because he had Walsh's players. It's utter rubbish.
What's he meant to do? He's only have his players. I made a good point in one of my videos. I was like, what's he meant to do? Fire all the players and get new ones from the CFL? What's he meant to do? Either he wins or loses, right?
Why do you guys think that it's like this? Now, I'm going to throw it back on you. Why do y'all think that, because we're talking about success here, why do you think the fan base has such a problem with, because how long has he been coaching? How long has he been the coach of y'all team?
15, 16 years.
Okay, y'all have had, 3 coaches in the last how many years?
3 coaches since 1969.
1969. That's 52 years. We've had 3 coaches in the last 5 years. Yeah. Come on, man. So why do y'all think that it's not enough? He's not.
I have one theory. I think this comes down to more of a human element, and why we are celebrating success today is people. It's easier to be negative than it is positive. I'm just saying. So it's easier to be negative than it's positive. And I'm just going to say, if you're complaining, if you're complaining about Tomlin being a bad person, a shit person, then maybe yourself, maybe you're a shit person. I'm just saying, like he's done so well. He will be going to the Hall of Fame. So there are people out there, and actually a lot of fans out there don't follow the team like myself and Owen do, or you do with the Lions grid. They don't follow the whole year around. They don't see the ins and outs of him. Yes, he's made a few mistakes. Yes, we've lost like playoff games 4 in a row now, and he tried tripping the Ravens guys. Sure, we do some bad things, but overall, as a coach, every player loves him. All the other coaches love him. Players want to play for him, right? The thing I think it's just like a lot of people maybe aren't happy with themselves, and I'm no doctor, even though I'm using this stuff, right? But they're not happy with themselves, so then they're like projecting that hate of themselves onto Tomlin, and that's their escape. So the minute we lose a game that we should have or should have won, they use that energy to deflect and who's the target? The head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I also think, and it's hard for me in Australia because it doesn't really happen here, but I know in America there could be a bit of racial bias, of course. The NFL is going through that stuff. Him with the Rooney Rule. At the same time, I just see him as a man. I would honestly walk up and shake his hand and say, "Thank you, Tomlin. You're a good bloke." So I don't overly know, but I think it's the 5% that is representing the 100%. And that is the problem, because a lot of you guys and even other fans like Gage from Denver Broncos Syndicate, he's like, "Oh, we love Tomlin," you know. And I really don't understand it. So I'm this year, like I'm just kind of done with them. I'm like, I'm calling them out. We've heard you 5 years ago. Thank you for your time, and now it's time to move on, because we heard you want to fire him, and now we're moving on the same way. So what do you think, Alan?
I mean, listen. If you listen to that Pivot podcast, I defy anyone to listen to that and then hate the bloke afterwards. The interview is awesome. The way he talks about people, the way he talks about his desire to. He talks in there about the fact that he feels that he's got to go out there and prove himself every single day. He talks about the fact he doesn't seek comfort. He doesn't use anything as an excuse. Like he was saying, he doesn't go home after he's lost and go, "Oh, well, I'm a Super Bowl champion." He doesn't do that. That's just not who he is. And the way he loves his players, the way he looks after his players, he talks about the fact that, he knows he's got to get the best out of those guys and the best for those guys, because they've got to feed their families. They've got to survive. He's got to do a great job for them. And he's just an awesome human being. And I think, Mark, you're right. I think there is an element of human beings not being happy and transferring that onto the team. But I do think there is an element of race there, because I don't think Belichick gets the same criticism. Andy Reid gets the same criticism that Tomlin gets. And I think, I think it is very, very unfair, the criticism he gets. It's out of order a lot of time.
I'd love to just go to, honestly, just if I had a chance, like, of course, with Tomlin's permission, like go to dinner with him, you know what I'm saying? Not just turn up and rock on his table. But I would love to just sit down with him and have a conversation, because I think he would be one of the most intelligent men. He's such an intelligent mind. He's always working. He's been working. Like, a lot of people don't realize he works the whole off season. He loves the NFL. And the minute we lose to the Jets or someone like that, they want to fire him. And I want to say, who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to replace Mike Tomlin with?
Exactly. And right? I think when it comes down to like a lot of that stuff, fellas, since we're talking about success and stuff like that, is when I watched stuff, like I watched the whole thing, and I was just like, when I hear like that type of stuff drives me. I love like Owen was saying about no comfort. Like, he doesn't seek comfort, but you did this, but you did that, and I'm the same way, man. Like, I want us to be super successful, and the thing about it is I see a lot of people quit. I see a lot of people that say they want to do it and they don't do it, or they don't do what it takes to be successful. Like I said, there are levels. You posting your first video, that's a success. Mark likes to see the positive, the little positive instead of the big negative. And you got to get through all that stuff, because YouTube is like the ultimate journey, man. It's like having that internship for a job you really, really want, but they say, hey, we're not going to pay you for 5 years, but you're going to learn all this stuff, all these tools to take to the next level. And when you start getting paid or make it to the next level, then the sky is not even the limit. It's beyond the sky. And it's like, when I hear interviews like Tomlin and stuff to say, hey, you're a winner, all these things, but I don't look to that. Like, if we lose, he said like his mama got to talk him down. Like, he don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of the same way. I'm driven by the want to do more and be more, and where that there's a point where not that it's never enough, but it's always something else I could be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just. I thought about this thing, and we all came together, and now we're 4 syndicates deep. We got another channel launching on Monday, and who knows where we could be. And this thing, we've been talking about how serious it's becoming. You know, we're talking about tax forms and certified accountants and all this other stuff. And it's like, man, we're doing this thing. You know, Mark had his reservations at first and stuff like that.
Do we get cheerleaders because we're like NFL syndicate teams?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if my wife would like that, man.
Here I'll do. I'll speak to Jenna.
Oh,
no, mate, you're on the Jenna block list. Leave that lady alone. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe next year, right? You get one shot a year. Around her birthday. Around her birthday.
She knows her stuff, though. She does know her stuff. I know that.
Yeah,
she's fantastic.
Yeah.
On the Tomlin thing, this question, right? Grid. If we sack Tomlin, would Detroit take him?
I think Dan Campbell, yes. I think Dan Campbell is just if you got rid of him at this moment, it would be like, I think, an uproar because of just, we had a 3-win team last year and everybody's excited about this team. And I think Dan has a lot to do with that. But during that time, absolutely. If it wasn't for Dan Campbell, yes. And if Dan Campbell can't turn this thing around in 2 more years, absolutely. No doubt.
Well, let's stick there with Detroit, Grid, and your team. How do you? I know it's been when did you come into the league? 1940 something.
Yeah, we became the Detroit Lions in 1934.
I know it's a funny question, but I was thinking about yesterday. How do you guys celebrate success?
Well, we have to have it. Well, it's just we got to have it, bro. I think that this fan base, you guys are spoiled. Our fan base, we don't know what winning feels like, so we don't know how to respond. I think we would just be like, did that just happen? Did we win a playoff game? Like, we've won one playoff game in my entire life. We've won one playoff game since in the Super Bowl era. Just to put it, welcome back on, just to put it in perspective, my mom was born the same year the Lions won the NFL championship or whatever it was back then. And we have had we've had 12 playoff appearances in the Super Bowl era or our entire life, and we've only won one time in my entire life.
You've won one game. So so the Bengals were the worst one with like 30 odd years drought, 31. Now
it's us. We hold the longest playoff drought, like winning drought in like professional sports right now.
Can you imagine that?
Yep.
Oh, can you imagine that for our fans? Like,
can you imagine it, Owen? Can you imagine it, bro?
Yeah.
We've had 4 losses, and really the 4 losses, the Patriots beat us, which really wasn't going to win that game. And then the Jaguars was that was like 50-50, or maybe we should have beat them. Browns, they beat us at home. They really stumped us. And KC was a harder team. They were not going to win that game, right? So imagine being since 19 whatever, like.
Yeah, I guess the only thing, if you want to look at like the positive, is that we whooped on Dallas, and then we got whooped on by Washington. Washington goes on to win the Super Bowl. So if you're going to lose to a team, it might as well be the team that wins the Super Bowl. But Matthew Stafford, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, we have done nothing with those guys. The closest that we've been since we've been in the Super Bowl era is 1992, which was the 91 season. The last time we have never won the NFC North, okay, which is 20 years old this year.
Never.
We have never won.
Never.
Okay. The NFC North is 20 years old. We've never won it. The last time we won Central, the NFC Central was a thing, and Tampa Bay was still in our division. Like, that's why I'm like, y'all need to. Pittsburgh fans need to stop, bro. Pittsburgh, Dallas, y'all don't know what real pain feels like.
Tomlin and these guys have never won it all.
Y'all don't know what real pain feels like. Y'all, like, this is pain.
That's one thing. That's one thing I don't get. When I see these hear this criticism, it's just like, yeah, try being a Lions fan or a Jags fan or a Jets fan or even to some extent, a Giants fan. I mean, the Giants obviously have got a franchise that are used to success, but you look at them over the last 4, 5, 6 years, they've
Okay, Owen, listen, bro, I gotta cut you off, man, because there's no comparison. The only comparison is the Browns. That's it. Because the Jaguars are 30 years old. We were from like 1914. We were the Portsmouth Spartans or some junk like that. Portsmouth, and we turned to Lions. There's no comparison, bro. If you take a team that was just created within the last 30 years, they're still babies. You know what I mean? Why would they have gone? And the Jaguars almost went when they had Blake Bortles and like Saxonville and all that. They were right there. The Browns is it. They are our AFC brothers. It's us and them, and they've had more playoff wins. So really, it's just us. Like y'all, Pittsburgh fans are spoiled, man, and I think a lot. Cowboys, Patriots, all like if you look at the Green Bay Packers have won the North most of the time. It's been them, a sprinkle of the Bears, and like a dab of the Minnesota Vikings. We've come close twice. We've never won it. So it's like, and we're still here. So I think that Pittsburgh Steelers fans need to appreciate the success from the owners, from Tomlin, from the players, man, Hines Ward, Jerome Bettis. Y'all had some guys, bro. And when y'all had them, y'all won. And y'all still being all the time. Like, try being a Lions fan for one season. One season.
I'm okay. So we're gonna take a midway break, and I've got a little bit of a game to play. So I woke up this morning and I drew this, right. So that's where I sit at my breakfast table, and I didn't actually draw that, but I found that I am the success story, right? Yeah. So, Grid, when I show you this next picture, I want you to tell me what you see, what you're really thinking. Like, if I'm in the psychology office, I'm laying down, like, what are your thoughts coming out, right? What do you see with this bloke standing here? What does that mean to you?
Man, first thing that comes to mind is I made it. That's right. The first thing that comes to mind.
First thing comes to my mind is how to get up there. Where's his harness? Where's his harness? Like, he's got some cojones on him to stand.
And he's wearing like a suit. So yeah.
I bet he's got a tank top on as well.
Well, he's probably wearing the same thing I'm wearing. He's wearing. I don't know. It kind of looks like is that Roger Goodell? No,
Bill Belichick.
All right, Owen. So that was a great answer. But you're next, right? What do you see with this picture? Yeah, I think it's a girl. It could be a girl. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I think it's a girl. I think I see a ponytail.
Owen's like my next wife, and I can get my green card coming over.
Oh, shut up, man. It's coming 18 months. I don't know. Success. Let's face this day and beat it, man.
Yeah, true. Well, that's kind of cool as well, because every day on YouTube as well, success, and it is like I didn't realize how until I met Grid, and I really went into it. And I guess Owen too, when you start making your stuff, it's a grind. Like, it is like up and down. Here we go, and like you get the 1K, I got a big 4K, and then for 2 months nothing. Like, it is like, yeah, it's such a weird dynamic to be. The roller coaster is. And when you finally get to the 1,000 subs, it's great, but we still got to keep going, still building, still keeping talking football. It's a funny thing, isn't it, Grid? This whole YouTube thing.
Yeah, that thing at 1,000, man, is just the beginning. And for all my YouTube novices and beginners out there, this is new. Like 4 years ago, all you needed was 30,000 total channel views or 10,000, something like that. Could you imagine? So like you didn't need 4,000 hours of watch time. You didn't need 1,000 subscribers. You just needed to make content, I think it was 10,000 total views, and you could join the YouTube partner program. So this is way different from what it used to be. And this is getting to monetization is just the beginning, but it's that milestone where you're like, okay, at least something's coming in for all the work that I'm putting in, and it's only genuinely going to go up. The more, the further you go, the higher that gets. So, I think YouTube did that on purpose, Mark. And I think they did it to like weed folks out because people quit, they give up, and I understand. I was one of those people. 3 years ago, my channel was maybe about 2,000 subscribers. Now I have 30,000 almost, 10,000, and now almost 4. So the point is, man, to keep going and keep trying to get better.
And the NFL coming in as well, or the sports media guys, YouTube might say, well, these guys have been really successful. We're going to raise the bar. That's going to be very, very intriguing over the next few years, depending how well that goes.
Yep.
We'll switch gears a little bit. I want to talk a bit more about the Lions too and their success. How are they going to be successful this year, the Lions? Like, what is the game plan? Like, are you happy with a playoff game or a playoff win? Like, what do you want? Or would you be shocked? Like, if you go out and win the Super Bowl, right? Would you be like, oh my, that's like too much at once?
Oh my God.
You know?
I don't think the city survives. I think I'm telling you, man, we would probably want to destroy everything, just like termites, man, just in a house. Man, so before Matt Patricia was fired, like I was done. I was to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore, man. It's like and I don't want to trigger anybody, but it's kind of the equivalent, in my opinion, to like the battered spouse syndrome, where you cannot leave, but you know you need to. And that's what the Lions, they just year after year after year. And, sometimes things don't go our way, but every year it's the same thing. And we fire a guy that was winning. Jim Caldwell, winning coach. He was actually the last coach that we had a winning season. We decided to fire him that year, and we went with Matt Patricia. Yeah, and that set our team back 3 years. So, and then we have to watch our quarterback win the Super Bowl. Like, it's just.
Yes, he did.
No. Man, Mark, I took that shirt, man, and ripped it off in real time. But for me, I would love what I want is a playoff appearance. I think a playoff appearance would be solid. I mean, obviously a win. Right now, to be honest with you, Mark, if we win 7 games, I'll be like, okay, we finally got that Matt Patricia monkey off our back. But then we got to shake the Jim Caldwell stigma. And for that to happen, we got to win a playoff game. So if we get, honestly, man, 9-8 playoff appearance, I think I would be cool because we're ahead of schedule in most parts. So.
But yeah, isn't that funny, Owen? So hearing from Gritter Lions fan who's like happy to get 8, 9, 10 in a playoff win, and we have our fans who are like Super Bowl every year, all bust and fire Tomlin. What is happening? Like what are your expectations for the Steelers, Owen, this year, or what would you be happy about?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I agree with. I think Grid, 7, 8 wins, 9 wins for them would be amazing this year. But what expectations? Again, I think. I'd like to get at least the playoffs, win a playoff game. That's the main thing I think this year. Just win a playoff game. I don't think we're true Super Bowl contenders. Taking the black and gold goggles off for a moment, we're not true Super Bowl contenders.
We haven't really got the offense for it, right? We have the defense. The defense can be there for sure, but the offense is like always all brand new. But I think our defense can. I'm going to be very a little bit annoyed.
NFL Network.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they didn't even rate us in the top 5, so.
What, offense or defense?
Defense.
Wow.
Defensive wise, like this team, the Steelers team, I think they match up against anyone if they're healthy in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think they need a better. If they get done again by 40 points, then maybe I might say, well, not fire Tomlin, but on the hot seat a little bit because that's like 3 or 4 years in a row with 40 points. So there's like a theme there. But I think defensively this year, the Steelers have a good shot to rouse anyone on any given Sunday, really. But the offense, we don't know yet, do we?
I got to ask y'all. I've been waiting for this moment. I almost forgot. How about that tie, gentlemen? How about that tie to the winless Detroit Lions? I want to hear about it because, man, let me say this first. I got to say this. Even though Big Ben was the equivalent to a plank, a wooden board, he could not move. I honestly believe if he's in that game, you win. So I'll give you that. But he wasn't. And you had Mason Rudolph. And we lost Jared Goff as well. But what did y'all feel? Man, tell me about those feelings about tying up against the 0-10 Lions at that point. Tell me all about it.
Oh, when you go first, and I'll follow.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I agree with Grid. Even Ben playing as he was last season, I think we would have won that game. Mm-hmm. It was honest with you. I actually sat and watched the highlights of that game the other day. Just to see how bad Rudolph actually is, right? Yeah. And everyone goes, oh, it was Freiermuth fumble. Oh, it was the Johnson fumble. Oh, it was the Kendrick Green snap over Mason Rudolph's head. But there were two moments in that game for me that just showed what an absolute chump Mason Rudolph is. Like, number one, the interception that he threw, which he threw nowhere near our wide receiver. He threw directly to the Detroit secondary guy. And then when he decided that Ray McLeod was wide open in the end zone, he decided to bounce pass it to him.
Yeah, because our defense was terrible. It was ranked bottom 3. We were 27th in getting to the quarterback, so the defense was atrocious. And I said the same thing. He missed a bunch of people wide open. That's why Big Ben, even though he can't move, he didn't really have to because we didn't get to the quarterback. You know what I mean? So he's in that game, we lose. But I'm just like, but we tied. Like, what is? It was like, I know y'all Steeler fans were sick. Not like, how could you tie against a team with no wins?
Do you know what? Right? Seriously, if we'd played Josh Dobbs in that game, if he'd been fit, we'd have won that game.
I believe you, because our defense was terrible.
Because Josh Dobbs wouldn't have bounced past the ball to Ray McLeod.
Yeah, that was tough because that was the end zone. I think we were going to be either leading or going back into the game for that one. Yeah. But like, I'm the guy who puts my hand up and says, "Well, Deontay did fumble and Muth did fumble because it's not all on Mason Rudolph." But
Muth's fumble, then, Mark. Muth's fumble. You try holding on to a wet ball when someone smashes their helmet into it.
Yeah, but you can't put all the blame on Mason Rudolph. And
I can. I can. He's a chump, Mark. He's a chump.
No, well, listen, I can break all this up because guess what? if Muth doesn't fumble, because that was like the last play of the game, wasn't it? When he fumbled and we got it back and we just went into the tie. We are known for losing games. Like, how is the Detroit Lions going to lose this game? And I had all the faith in the world in your offense. You would have got enough. We had already watched Justin Tucker beat us on a record-setting field goal. We had already lost to the Minnesota Vikings on a walk-off field goal. I was waiting for the walk-off field goal moment. He doesn't fumble that ball. I think you win that game. That's just our team. We have been calling this for years because we've seen it before with how they play. And how can they lose games? That is how can the Detroit Lions lose this game? And that's what it was. We had lost 3 walk-off field goals up until that point. 3, something like that. So we lost 4 games by walk-offs last year. It was insane.
Because Muth came back inside as well. He came back inside to make a play and then tried to get more yards and then fumbled the football. Entirely, Owen, you can't say that it's 100% on Rudolph. Not at all. He made mistakes, but there were mistakes, obviously, that turned the football over, like Deontay Johnson and Muth. My biggest problem is I think the NFL should get rid of ties. I agree. They don't serve any place really in the standings. Like, I know it affects the game like by a half or whatever, but ties are just overall just dumb. Like, they need to play for a winner.
There's got to be a way around ties. I mean, other sports have come up with ways of getting rid of ties. I mean, okay, not in our country. There are ties still in our country with our boring sports, but the NHL, in terms of they reduced the number of players. I'm not saying this would work in the NFL, but I watch quite a lot of NHL, and they reduce the number of players on the ice, and then eventually they go to a shootout to actually settle the regular season games. In baseball, they keep playing until there's a winner. There's got to be a way around it. Yeah, I agree. There should not be a tie in.
There's an empty feeling of like, when you win, you are successful when you go and did that. Or when you lose, you look at your failures and how do I get better? A tie is
neither.
What?
Yeah, it's like,
what do I do?
It feels
but
like
the busted party is a tie is more of a win than a loss. So if that's the case, exactly. So if the NFL counts it as half a win, why don't you let them actually finish the game? Because it goes down. If it came down between 8-8 or 8-1 and then 9, because the Lions were. It's weird, man. Like it counts more toward a win than a loss. So why even have it in the first place?
Yeah, well, I think the one big thing about the tie is that the NFL doesn't want these players playing too much. But I want to see them play the game until they finish, and that could be another quarter or whatever it is. But that's probably why they have it in, because they'll be like, well, I'm not on contract to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quarters. I want to.
We will never see that, Mark. We'll never, because they reduced the overtime to 10 minminutes. So
and that's silly too. You get 2 possessions each, maybe 3.
Yeah, and they'll never change that, man.
Well, I think they change it in the playoffs now, where they get like an extra possession or something like that. So
the offense, they do. But as far as the extending the time or having it start at the 10-yard line or whatever,
and then both teams play like they they almost don't want to stuff up to lose the game as well, or do you go too hard to win? Ties just like are a really funny thing. Like you said, like in hockey, there's no ties in hockey. You go down to reduced man. Like imagine if they did play 7-on-7 or something like that. Wouldn't that be interesting? But it all does come back to that the health factor and some players even think about, well, am I getting paid to go to the playoffs and play? You're not. You're not getting paid extra to go to the playoffs, right? They're extra games to play. I think the contract is just about the season. So a lot of money involved, all this kind of stuff involved. But it's like at the end of the day for the fan, you both walk away and go, what the hell? Like we had an AFL grand final a few years ago, 2015, right? Both teams tied and then the game ended. They played next week. and all the fans,
that almost happened with the Chargers. Like if they would have tied that game, y'all wouldn't have made it to the playoffs. It was crazy.
Oh, that was a ridiculous game.
Let me ask y'all something. Did y'all really think that was going to happen because the game went to overtime and the overtime almost ran out? What were y'all thinking at that moment?
I would have been pissed off because
did you think it was going to happen?
Yes. No, it should have been played. It should have been played before. That game should have been played during the day.
No, did you think that it was going to? Did you think that these teams were going to tie? Is there some point during you watching that game? Did you think they were going to tie?
100%. Yeah.
No, I agree with Mark. I think the last week of the season, every game should kick off at the same time and finish at the same time.
100%.
It's something we do. It's something that happens in soccer in England because it has in the past where the games didn't and teams basically fixed it.
Yeah,
because like they would know exactly what they've got to do, so they'd just play out a draw and not do anything. So I think
that's what happened last year. Raiders and Chargers, though both teams didn't matter. It didn't matter who won.
Yeah, so I think you really should on the last week of the season, every game should kick off at 1 o'clock. Every game should finish at the same time, unless it go to overtime, obviously. But it's the only way to make it fair because unless you could literally have a game that starts 5-6 hours after a game is finished, and you know exactly what you need to do to win, and you could have a situation where both teams just kneel down for 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's what happened though too with the Raiders Chargers game. They were playing for about 4 quarters, and once they kind of knew they're going to tie, both coaches were like, "Well, there's obviously plays you can run where you're not going to score, right?" And the other team knows that, and they did that. The only reason they really got that far up there was because I think the Chargers stuffed up, did a timeout, they ran the ball, and then kicked the field goal to win. But they easily could have made a tie. That would have really, really, really annoyed me because the NFL handles that to make it a big spectacle.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, they displease so many other fans pushing that way. It should have been at 1 p.m. It should have had no bearing on it at all. And even sometimes they do it as well, where like the last game, if it's like Packers versus Lions for the division, they'll make that the number one. Even if it's this I don't know, just play them all the last day because. I guess the NFL can be greedy though, because how much you've already had 17 weeks of entertainment. You want one last game to go down the wire. And it was frustrating. Like I was like, how? Because you could tell.
That's exactly what's happened, Mark, because the last I've been streaming for 3 years. And year one, it was like Seahawks Niners. And this is when the Niners went to the Super Bowl. And that game was for the division winner. And then not last year, but the year before that, it was Seahawks, somebody else, or Niners, somebody else. And then this year, because the season starts and there's no Sunday night football game for week 17. It's always like flexed. And I agree because that game went to overtime and the overtime almost ran out. And if the overtime runs out, it's a tie.
3 seconds.
Yep. And according to what they said, if Staley doesn't kick the field goal, or he was trying to win, so then the Raiders coach was like, well, let's win. And then they went down the field and won. So I agree. I would love to see all that happen, but they're not going to do that.
And if you miss, they still would have won.
Yep.
It's just a crazy, like, it shouldn't have been that way. And even the media, like, the whole time built it up. And it would have been, if I was a coach and I was looking over the sideline going, hey, whoever the Chargers coach is, I'd be, hey, mate, we're on the same page, aren't we?
Yeah, that's kind of what they were doing. Yeah.
In the last quarter, it's just that ties need to go. But I think if the ties don't go, the reason is because NFL players don't want to play more than they're playing.
Yeah,
because without getting paid a certain amount of money, I don't know if that can happen. But hockey seems like a different beast as well, right? Like hockey players, they seem like they're playing for more love of the game. I find that the NFL is getting, I don't know, some players don't like they want to play for love, right?
Oh yeah, the hockey's massively physical, massive desire to win, and you've just got to look. I mean, I've obviously watched a lot of Penguins games this year, and the physicality they play with is just incredible. And and you just got to look at how. I mean, look at the Penguins loss in the playoffs. when that thug Truba took out Crosby to win, basically just cheat their way to the next round of the playoffs. It's very physical, very, very full on.
Yeah, so I got a question for you then, Grid. What do you think it means to an NFL player to be successful? Do you reckon in this day and age, right? You've been watching Gridiron a long time, you're American dude, so you grew up there. What is their reason for success? Is it the team, their own personal brand? Is it desire to win? What is it that drives them, do you think, in this culture now in 2022?
Man, that's a good question, Mark. Honestly, bro, it all depends on how the player is cut. I mean, like I was watching one of the podcasts, and they were saying that some people are just about money. They don't care if they win, and other players want to win. They don't care about money. And then, so to be honest with you, man, I think it depends on the player, their background, what they're trying to prove, what they want. We've had two great, all-time great players in Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. They both were first ballot Hall of Famers, but they have no rings. Calvin has 3 playoff appearances, no wins. Barry has a game before the Super Bowl, and they're both Hall of Fame first ballot, but we don't have any wins. They got a bunch of money, but nothing beyond that. So just like, does money drive players, or do the Hall of Fame drive? I don't know, bro. So that's a really good question, and I think it depends on the person. For me, like, what drives me is I want to be great, I want to be successful, and like I said, the more I get disrespected, the more I work. That's just how and I know there's some people in the NFL like that as well. So my thing is, keep on disrespecting me, keep on feeding me, because I really wouldn't know how to act if I didn't get it. You know what I mean? So I know some people are driven by other things, but first is success and my desire to be great. But underneath that, it is constant being overlooked, being underappreciated, being undervalued, and just being plain told I can't do something. You know what I mean? So I am driven by disrespect to be. I got a saying. I think it's called fueled by greatness, driven by disrespect. So it's like that for me is why I will work as hard as I can, especially at this YouTube thing, man. Because a lot of people feel like you can't do it. A lot of people feel like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your effort and everything because there's no future. And we know it's a future because people are coming from their sports media jobs to YouTube. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really the big thing that I've noticed. And I think, like we said like 20 minutes ago, like that Ryan Clark or one of them said that they're all coming that way now. Yeah. All those guys are coming over to YouTube and saying hello. But Owen, what do you think about the new guys in 2022? We're all getting older. You fellas are a bit older than me. I'm 32. But where's the passion for playing for the NFL? Is it about money? Is it about fame? Or is it about purely getting that first down and winning? What do you think? And for most players as a whole, who do you think? What do you think?
I mean, not just the NFL, but I think all professional sports go in the way of money. I think money drives the beast. It's all about, I want my money, I want my bag, pay me the money, and then I'll turn up and I'll play. I mean, you just got to look at the players that hold out. The moment they don't think they're going to get their money, they don't turn up and play anymore, even if they're going into the final year of their rookie contracts. I think the problem is it is very much the modern generation. They're out for themselves, and it's all about me, not the wider community, not the wider team, not the wider world. It's all very much what can I get out of this, and forget everyone else. And I think that's just the generations we're growing up in that are growing up now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's funny because you talk about the community, and I instantly think of Najee Harris, right? And he's like a standout player for the community, but there's probably still a bit of like leeway. Well, if I go help out the community, well, I get build my brand bigger and do this better, right? But I kind of miss the days of like even back when I was watching when I was younger, NFL was big, but it just seemed like the guys like James Farrier, James Harris, and those dudes just played football and wanted to win, and they got their success and their money, right? Yep. And now it seems like some of the players coming into the league, not all of them, because I think some are really hard workers like TJ Watt and those guys want to go out and dominate and physically punch people. But it seems like now that they're coming from college and they're just giving the money, and next minute, do you play for that 3 or 4 or 5 years, get the bag, and then relax? Because you see that with some players too. Like, Grid, how's this culture changing? Like, is there we just in 2022 we can't change it? This is it, right? Or what's going on?
I think like you said, man, me and Owen are a bit older, and I have a son that's turning 13. He's Z, and then we did some research on like after him is the alpha. Like what is happening? So and I just seeing him, I'm like, oh Lord, it's gonna be tough, in a few years. So I think that everybody can change, things can change, Mark, but it's just the way it is, man. Like the internet was not a necessity 15 years ago, and now it is. I raised my son, and I used to be like, well, because you heard from your parents, back in my day. And with my son, I'm like, back in my day. Then I'm saying to myself, he's not going to get that. He can't relate to back in my day. So I have to use a different example. So to go with what you were saying, can it change? Yes. Will it change? I don't think so, bro. I think, is people watching these guys now, Mark, from that alpha generation that are going to try to emulate what these guys are doing. And I think that it's probably going to continue to go like it's going until it doesn't, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying that everyone doesn't play football and play hard. I think a lot of them play hard and stuff like that. But I just find that, of course, when you look back on highlights from the days of Mean Joe Green and all those fellas.
It's a different game, man.
And they would just play in the game to love it, just punching people, hitting as hard as they can, run the ball. Franco Harris or Steeler guys, right? Mel Blunt, I remember seeing a highlight from Super Bowl 9 versus the Vikings. He literally just went double-fisted and knocked this guy's head off.
Yeah.
as he was in the air catching the ball. And there's like the desire to win. And like, are the players are they playing for legacy anymore, for the Pittsburgh Steelers history? Are they playing for that? There's been some players, I can't think off the top of my head, but some players come in and they call it black and yellow, and you're like, what are you doing? Do they look up the history?
I think getting back to what you were saying about the 70s Steelers, a lot of those guys had second jobs.
Wow.
I've read Their Life's Work by Guy Pomerantz, the guy, about the 70s Steelers, and they were saying like, a few of those guys had second jobs in the summer because they couldn't actually afford to live on the salary they were being paid at that time by the Steelers.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, it was a different world back then. I think, there are still some people who come into the team and want to build legacy and want to be Steelers for the Pittsburgh Steelers is, probably one of the most historic franchises in professional sports. TJ Watt, for example. I think Alex Highsmith is one of those, listening to how he talks. I think Najee Harris is as well. Mm-hmm. But there are others who I don't think the team is the most important thing to them. I think it's what they can get out of it and how can they further their careers. And end of the day, you can't blame them. I suppose they're only professionals for a very short length of time and they need to make their money to be able to survive. Same in all professional sports. But no, I think there are still those, that want to be Steelers because they're Steelers, but there are still those that just want the money. They don't want the legacy. They're not interested in that.
Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic too, because obviously, you can't blame them too much either, because we're not in their shoes, right? We're not going out there busting our butt to go and get routes, footballs, and doing this, and then when you get paid, and money can change people too, so it's quite interesting. But Gridman, we're almost going to finish this. What is your final thoughts on being successful? Do you want me to ship this over to you so you can wear it?
No, I could pick my own up from the dork store, so no problem, Mark. No problem.
That's not even a real store.
Yeah, it's not a store. I'm a huge dork anyway, man. I'm playing with you. Man, it's what you want. I think like your level of success, and for me, I think that like I'm 42, guys, so I'll be 43 this year, and the opportunities that I have now, I didn't have 10 years ago. I didn't have 5 years ago. And I remember there was a time, and this story will be brief. My channel had 708 subscribers. And I was talking, everything my channel was about. And it wouldn't move. Like the sub count wouldn't move for like a week and a half. And so I decided to hide my sub count. And everyone knows that you don't hide your sub count. It's just something you don't do. So I hid it because I was depressed, man. I was tired of looking at it not move, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And blah, blah, blah. And there was a moment I almost quit. Like it was several moments I almost quit. And 3.5 years later, I'm working with you fine gentlemen. We got goals. We're reaching them. I mean, in my opinion, destroying everything that we put before us. And I have 3 monetized channels and, 30,000, 10,000. And the success for me is doing something I love to do, which is talk about my team, have a passion that this platform has allowed me to turn into potential compensation. And beyond YouTube AdSense and all that stuff, you have sponsorships. You have people that email me all the time. They want me to review this product or whatever. So for me, success for me is not giving up, always striving. If you set a goal and try your best to reach it. And if you do, if you just can't quit. To me, that's the bottom line. You can be successful if you do enough research, watch enough people. You can be successful, but you can't quit. And I think that for me, that equals success.
That's very well said. What about yourself, Owen? Final thoughts on, just the overall thing we're doing with Syndicate, or in your personal life or NFL or whatever? Like, I want to say just a few things for yourself, Owen. I want to say, like, first of all, you will pass me in about 2 weeks. Your sub count will go kaboom and pass me, and you're doing really well. And I just want to say you are, like I always say, you're going hard in the paint. I know we play the NFL, but if I was playing with you one-on-one basketball, I'd be like, whoa, what am I? What is this? You're like, I wasn't even ready. You're like, like I'd be losing.
Mark.
I'd be losing big time. But I want to say, like, I think you're doing tremendous things from being on YouTube this year. I at least have like the podcast background with BTSC for a year and a bit and a half. And then I did like streaming for about a year and a half as well, and how to be, present online. But you've pretty much come in and said, well, I can do that. And then, work through it, and like 400 or something, 450 subs or whatever you have. And now you have the Syndicate, and you've grown that with us. And like, I couldn't have done that without you, to be honest. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to think of ideas.
Yeah, Mark, you're also a millennial, bro. So like, dude, I want to go surf and all this other stuff. So
if I can't fix it, I just walk away, right? I just go, stuff that, I'll get it later. But no, I'm serious. Like it's a weird dynamic trying to grow these things, and also we want to talk football. Like, that's our goal, right?
Yeah.
98% of the stuff is talking football and relaying the information to you guys, make you laugh, make you cry, do whatever. But I think you've done really well, Owen, mate, to come in the last since the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, or the year of, and to come in and really, you're a YouTube media personality. You're like Colin Cowherd, but better.
Oh, don't compare it to him, man.
Not that guy.
Yeah, exactly. At least I don't chat rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually, we can't talk about that too much, but we don't chat rubbish. But yeah, what are your thoughts overall on success? Like, are you proud for what you've done? Because I'm proud of you, bro.
It's kept me honest with you guys. It's, I want to obviously thank you two as well for having faith in me and bringing me on board. It's really meant a lot. Having people that have faith in you gives you confidence to carry on. And like the faith that Grid's placed in me, and the faith that you placed me, Mark, to bring me on has been fantastic. So thanks, guys, for that. And I think at times it's been, well, for me, I'm not going to go too much into my personal stuff, but like since 2016, I've had a really tough time, and this year has been really tough as well with my personal life. And this stuff gives me a release. It gives me something to focus on. It's been a godsend for me, really, to have, and I just love it. And I think since I've started taking it seriously now, since Feb, it's been phenomenal. And thanks to everyone out there who's given me support. It's just been fantastic. Yeah. And I think, it is a lot of hard work. Yeah, you've got to put in the. It's not just sitting here and talking rubbish. As at work, I've told a few people that I do this, and they say, so what? Basically, you get paid to be a gob, and then a swear word that comes after that.
Well, while we're on that notion, everyone hit S for successful in the chat. Please, if you want to be successful.
Type 1 if you think Mark's the best. 2 if you think. And there's a prize for those who think they can comment the most.
I love it.
S was successful right now, and there could be an ad break coming right. Actually, I'm not monetized yet, so wait until I get monetized. You guys, you guys will hate me. No, I'm only joking. No, that's great thoughts from Grid. I do appreciate those thoughts too, Owen. I think we need to have fun with this stuff too. It's like that's why I want to do the show, because I was like, we have been working really hard on the Syndicate. And when I say hard, like mostly to me, it's a lot of mental game, and it's so frustrating. It's just like, what? That didn't hit, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah. And it's just really frustrating. But the reason why we do it, guys, I think you guys know, the viewers know, and you're part of the community, right? And you guys can do it too if you want to put up YouTube videos, all about YouTube. But the reason why I do it is it's an outlet. It's the outlet to exhaust all my Steeler stuff. So now I can go driving, do an Uber, or talk to my friends and family, and then I don't need to talk as much anymore about the Steelers, because I could talk. Me and Owen would be horrible if we met like a new Steeler fan, because they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to be a fan anymore." Like, they know too much, right? So to me, it's an outlet. Wouldn't you agree, Grid? It's just the outlet to just.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be real with y'all, and for me, I'm trying to get paid. I'm just gonna keep it real, because when I started this, it was an outlet. I started talking about my divorce in 10 years ago. I just got on YouTube, was making videos out of my bathroom with my Metro PCS. That's an American phone provider. They could be, but it's cheap. That's the point. And I was just venting about that, and wasn't getting paid, but it was an outlet back then. And yes, Mark, everything you said is an outlet. I can talk Detroit Lions. That's the reason I started. The Lions, they got eliminated from playoff contention in 2017 with a loss to the Bengals. And the Bengals were really bad back then. And I just got online and started talking about it. And then that led to this moment sitting in front with you. But all of that, listen, I'm trying to get paid. I'm going to be real. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to talk about my team. I'm trying to get some influence, and I'm trying to get paid. And I'm trying to get people who join us paid as well. So that is my first is passion and desire. And then under that is money. I'm not going to, it's money out here that I'm trying to get. If people don't want it, that's cool. I take it. So I love doing this. I used to work at the post office. I hated it. I used to work at driving a school bus. I loved it, but the hours were crazy. So if I can get paid doing something I love, then why not? And so I'm trying to have fun and get paid.
100%. Any final thoughts, Owen? Or we just got, no one's voted yet. I don't understand why. Maybe that doesn't work over at certain.
I voted. I said SSSSS. I did like 4 S's. So yeah, I voted. Y for yes, N for no. Yes for success. That's what I want.
Holy dooly. Any final thoughts, Owen, or do you want to send us out?
I think all good, man. So yeah, do you want to? I don't want to say.
I put him on the spot. All right, guys. Thank you for.
No, Mark. Listen, I will send us out. We are these guys run phenomenal channels. We are the sports syndicate. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers syndicate. We have Detroit Lions syndicate. We've got Denver Broncos syndicate. These guys got their own channels as well. Britsburg on Steelers Nation Australia. We have the Minnesota Vikings syndicate starting Monday, and we are coming with more on the way. So we are going to be the place to be to get all your information about your favorite team. So get ready, because the syndicate, we're not coming, folks. We're already here. And that's how it's done.
Amen, brother.
Hey, Mark. Shout out to you, bro.
Let's go! 0-3, baby!
See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about